Good morning, everybody. Angela here. Thad may or may not be joining us. He had a 10:30 call with a judge and he thought he'd be done by 11, but he's not on the call yet. And so I'm gonna, oh, there he is. He's joining us now. So I guess we will start here in a second. I was ready to go without you, Thad. I almost started.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Do you have some report on the content of Executive Order 54?
I can let you know that basically it's to avoid the risk of spreading COVID-19 from a county or municipal detention facility to a state detention facility. It's basically saying that the department at its sole discretion can prohibit the transfer of any or all inmates from a county or municipal detention to a department facility. And there's some information about requiring that they inform the sheriff or sheriff's designee, and it's giving the commissioner's designee complete discretion on that. Yep. So the order is available on the governor's website.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm reading it off another screen over here.
Yeah, thank you, Angela. So what I guess the governor's doing is giving the Department of Corrections the ability to refuse inmates from local county jails that aren't compliant, at least to the Department of Corrections satisfaction.
Yeah.
Thank you, Angela.
I thought that would be important for some of our members. So.
And if you didn't do the big announcement, welcome to Bar Talk May 20.
Hadn't quite got there yet.
All right. And we do have an update on, of course, Maine residents being able to go to campgrounds, and it looks like our nail salons will have to wait until next month. Just a reminder, tomorrow morning, the judiciary is going to convene another stakeholders meeting, and they're going to then consider the final inputs that are shared with them for making changes in reopening or guiding them in reopening our courts. So we have business side updates. And did you want me to start with my special book report on personal branding, Angela? All right. So I had told you guys before that this was a recommended read. It says that you can read it in 1 hour. It took me 3 hours. So maybe I'm just a slow reader, I don't know. But it essentially has 8 chapters, and it talks about personal branding, then why it matters, then whether or not you have a happy brand, and then your unique selling proposition, visual branding, and then marketing, and then networking, and finally communicating your personal brand, which essentially is that last chapter on how you develop a plan, both on time management and so forth. So I'm just going to review what I thought were the highlights of each chapter to kind of get you excited about the ideas, at least in the book. And it is an ABA Law Practice Division book, so you can go on the ABA website and obtain a copy should you so desire. But if there's ever a great time to take another look at your personal brand as an attorney, it's this time. We're about ready to work on reopening our businesses in full over the coming months, and what a better time to take stock in how we do business. So it starts out by essentially indicating, what do we want to be known for? And the gist of the book is to kind of like combine your interests and joys, your strengths and talents into your practice. And it gives several examples in there, just, half-page case studies of attorneys that this attorney in particular that wrote it um, knows about their stories and how they had weaknesses, how they had strengths. And what's interesting is a couple of the themes that follow in this book are themes that we have discussed in the past with Bill Nugent and with our other guests. And those themes are be a giver, not a taker, and be authentic. And essentially, those things will lead you to having a thriving and rewarding practice. So, chapter 1 pretty much talks about that, your target, developing a target market through your individual attributes. And to develop your reality, what is it? Why did you become an attorney? What is it that, you want to right for wrongs out there? So, and then it talks about how your legal business is really 50% substantive work, meaning that you know how to research, you know what the law is, you know how to apply it. And then the other 50% of your legal business is substantive work, such as how you get the work. How do you distinguish yourself to get the work? Why getting people getting clients that you want to engage you for work so that you have work. Chapter 3 talks about incorporating joy into your practice and developing that through your natural talents, which it gives you some steps on that. And then it talks about how to develop that in chapter 4 into your unique selling proposition. How your USP, they call it, is a product of your background, your experiences, your visual attributes, your likes and dislikes, and your activities. This is your being authentic. And then chapter 5 is about visual branding. It actually talks about how it gives several examples about why we should pay attention to this. And I think Maine is, I thought of a lot of our brethren here in Maine regarding the visual branding. It comes down to the clothes you wear, belts you might wear, cufflinks you might wear, bold colors that you might wear, hairstyles, and it gave an example which I thought was thought-provoking. Essentially, is that there was some study that was quoted in there that said 85% of why a person chooses to gravitate toward you and have a discussion. So in other words, a person walks into a room and they're in a gathering, let's say everyone's in a lounge or in a meeting room, and 85% of what makes a person gravitate towards you is how they appear physically. So that essentially starts the chapter about how you need to pay attention to your visual branding and how you get people's attention. Chapter 6 talks about the difference between promoting yourself and bragging. It also talks about setting up a website presence or a website and then web presence. And it gives you some ideas for that development. Chapter 7 talks about networking. And it talks about the benefits of community service in your community where you practice, and the events you attend. In other words, this book in chapter 7 actually talks about the importance of attending, whether it's trade events that you're somehow tied to in your practice, or bar events, so that you can see other attorneys. It also talks about the value of being at events with other attorneys, and that the book remarked on, some attorneys didn't see the value. Why would I go to let's say an MSBA event that includes, like a social or something like that, along with CLE? Why would I go to the social part? Well, it talks about the fact that it's other attorneys' perceptions of us too that develop our practice into the future also. It talked about how being part of an attorney relationship also gets you the business that you want, and that should be concentrated on just as much as trade events and community service. And like I said, the 8th chapter is about how to make all of those work into a plan to change your brand or to modify your brand. So that's my book report. And with that, Angela, did you have something you want to share with us on the business side?
Yep, just a reminder, this weekend upcoming is Memorial Day weekend, so Monday is a holiday. We will be closed and we will not be having Bar Talk. And we have some special guests coming up in the next week. So I hope everybody will join us.
Excellent. Thank you, Angela. And Angela and I are thankful for our Bar Talk attendees and the fact that you contribute just as much as you receive from this program by telling the people about what it is you learned and what it is that we can learn from this process. So that's Bar Talk's been just as valuable to me as I assume as it has been to you. So yes, and this is the gratitude quote that Bill Nugent gave us yesterday.
We will post, as always, these slides on the website. So if you want to grab it from there, you can do so.
All right.
And Joe says he loves you, Thad.
Is that Joe Lewis? Yeah. Thank you very much, Joe. So with that, if there's anything that you wanted to copy us on or have us push through before tomorrow's 9:30 stakeholders meeting with the judicial branch, just let us know. Forward it up to Angela or I.
Yeah, please do so before 9:30 tomorrow.
And tomorrow at 11 o'clock, we're going to have District Attorney Slattery on, so from York County, and she's going to give us some updates. And so we look forward to that. All right, that being said, I think we are 1 minute shy of closure. Are there any shares, questions? Okay. Angela, thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Thad.